Today, Hazbin Hotel's Season 2 Episodes 1 and 2 were released onto Amazon Prime Video. The season will be released in batches over the course of a month. Every Wednesday, there will be 2 new episodes uploaded onto Prime Video. The 2 episodes that were released today were called New Pensius and Storyteller. This new season is mainly just a continuation of the first season, but replacing the main threat of Adam with the Vees. Being able to see much more content of all the characters is a breath of fresh air, and I can't wait to talk about this new season. Within this video, I'll briefly go over what happened in each episode, talk about the songs, any details that I noticed, and of course what I liked and disliked about these 2 episodes. Of course, at the end I will give my general thoughts so far. So, let's get started. Disclaimer, this video is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. As listed on screen, my video is categorized as criticism and news reporting. I am not reposting the source material one for one, and it is impossible to watch the source material and get the full experience out of my video. Starting off with episode 1, the first shot shows us some scenery of hell itself. While we hear Katie Killjoy, voiced by Brandon Rogers, who also voices Blitz in Hell of a Boss, talking about the Hazbin Hotel and how a month ago Charlie stopped the Angels from carrying out the extermination. Meanwhile, at the hotel, the main lobby is flooded with news reporters or people who want to kill Angels. Vaggie finds Charlie crying over statues of Sir Pensius, while Vaggie tells her that she should help out with all of the stuff going on at the hotel. After pretending that everything is fine, Charlie goes to help out. We then cut to Vox at the news studio with Katie, where he seems to be mad at her for giving the hotel any kind of positive coverage. Katie of course agrees to only negatively cover the hotel in the future, due to the fact that Vox Tech sponsors the news studio. Cutting back to the hotel, we see Angel Dust talking to Cherry Bomb. Cherry obviously misses Sir Pensius ever since she found out that he was in love with her. However, to keep up her tough persona, she acts like she doesn't care. Once Charlie walks back downstairs, we are introduced to a character that many people have been waiting for years. This character being Baxter, the mad scientist. Being a scientist, Charlie sees him as the new Sir Pensius, and keeps mistaking Baxter's name for Pensius's. We then get to listen to the first song of the season, being Hazbin Guarantee, in brackets Trust Us. Within the song, Charlie explains how great the hotel is, while midway through the song, Vox and the Vees take over to explain how the Vees Tower is a much better place, and that people should ignore the Hazbin Hotel. After the song, we see everyone in the hotel asking Charlie a million questions at once. Charlie starts to get overwhelmed, and Lucifer finally steps in to take her away from the situation. Cutting to Vox's office, we get a shot of his pet robotic shark, which I think looks awesome in this one shot. Velvet and Valentino then enter the room as they have a meeting about Vox's plan to take over both hell and heaven, for them to rule over everything. Cutting to Lucifer's bedroom, we see him and Charlie appear out of nowhere. They have a conversation about how Charlie is going to be able to handle all of this pressure, and the conversation drifts into talking about Charlie's mother. They both express how much they miss her before Charlie decides to call her mother privately. Of course she doesn't answer the phone, so Charlie just leaves a voicemail. We then see Vaggie talking to the others, trying to come up with a new name for herself, before we see Charlie work up the courage to tell everyone that's not there for redemption to go away. Of course, everyone leaves the hotel and it's just back to being quiet, leaving Baxter as the only new guest of the hotel. Cutting back to Vox's office, he has just finished explaining to Valentino for the second time how they're going to become leaders of both heaven and hell. Valentino asks how they will even get to heaven, and Vox starts singing the second song in the episode. This song is Once We Get Up There, which is my favorite song in the season so far. They sing about the fact that once they get up to heaven, they will receive everything they could have hoped for. Power, status, weaponry, an army, and more. Afterwards, we see a brief scene with Charlie and Vaggie, where Vaggie tells her that she will take over most of the hotel's duties to lighten the load. We also get another news story from Katie Killjoy, making Charlie look the worst person in existence and Vox look like the god he wishes to be, before Emily appears from nowhere. She tells Charlie that Sir Pensius was redeemed and that the hotel is working, and Charlie just has another mental breakdown before the episode ends. Instantly, I notice that there's a significant increase in quality in this season in terms of pacing, writing, etc. Having the Vees as the main villains is so much better in my opinion, and the songs are way much better as well. Something I would have liked to have seen more of is little details or Easter eggs for the audience to find. I always like these, as Hazbin used to do these a lot, and so do a lot of indie animated series. I guess a detail that I liked that was kept in was the big painting of Sir Pensius from season 1 of the show. I feel like they didn't have to keep this in, however I'm very glad that they did. As for the first song, Hazbin Guarantee, I thought the song was okay, but it definitely wasn't my favourite. Also, I think that quite a few songs from season 1 were better than this one. Also, with this scene of Valentino hitting Angel like 4 times, there are already a lot of people online that don't really like how Valentino is written in the show, and I think that this scene is just going to add more fuel to that fire, but we will see as time goes on. Now, let's move on to the second episode, called Storyteller. The first scene of the second episode is Sir Pentious chained in the middle of the Heaven courtroom. The entire room seems to be questioning how Pentious got into Heaven, and starts to antagonize Sarah. Denying that redemption is possible, Sarah interrogates Pentious into telling her how he got into Heaven, hoping for literally any answer other than redemption. Lute then goes on a generational rant on why Pentious is worth nothing, and he shouldn't be allowed in Heaven, even going as far to say that Adam's killing was an act of war from hell itself. We are then introduced to the Speaker of God, who is a softly spoken angel whose job, as far as I know, is to deliver messages from God to others. However, in this scene, she is seen as a voice of reason, trying to get Pentious to open up about himself. And she succeeds. He tells her the story of how he ignored the killing of a woman in 1880s London, and was sent to hell for it. He then fought against Adam to defend his friends and to prevent that same ignorance from happening again. And then he was sent to heaven once he was killed. The realization hit her that she could have prevented the suffering of a lot of redeemable souls, as she now believed that Pentious was redeemed. After Lute argues with the courtroom for a while about how hell is a threat and there is no redemption, Pentious is given a place in heaven and the meeting is dismissed. We see a scene of Lilith eating in the middle of a peaceful jungle area. She has a lot of missed calls and messages from Lucifer and Charlie, but she also gets a message from Lute telling her that she's off the hook for a while. We then cut to Emily and Pentious in the middle of heaven, where Pentious asks if he's going to be able to see his friends again. Emily says no, but she shows him how good heaven is alternatively with a song to go along with it. This song is called Like You. At the end of the song, Sir Pentious tries to, buckshot roulette himself. Less than a minute later, we get another song from Sarah and the Speaker called Sarah's Confession, where Sarah talks about her guilt of knowing that she could have prevented the exterminations and not knowing what to do next. Lute is infuriated with how she thinks hell has gotten away with everything, and suddenly hears a familiar voice. She sees Adam and thinks he's alive for a second, but realizes that in the middle of her grief, she is hallucinating him. Sarah has a meeting with Abel and St. Peter that goes nowhere, and Emily gives Pentious some new angel egg boys to keep him company. We then cut to Adam's old room, where Lute is still angry. She sings the third song of the episode called Gravity, which is my favorite song of this episode, and she sings about how she will get her revenge on Heaven for killing Adam. We then cut to Emily, who is showing Sir Pentious his new room. They both see outside that Sarah has finally decided to put a protective dome around the entirety of Heaven, and put Heaven on lockdown to keep them safe from hell. Emily then opens the portal to talk to Charlie, and the episode ends. This episode was also very good. The animation was just as good as the last one, the characters were great, and to see what happened to Pentious in Heaven after he arrived was cool too. I liked the introduction of more angelic characters like Abel and the Speaker. I do think that having 3 songs in one episode was a bit too much, especially since Like You and Sarah's Confession was less than a minute apart. I also think that Citizens of Heaven could have been given a better design, but other than that I think the episode was really good. Overall, I think these 2 episodes of Season 2 are worth the wait. Being able to see a lot more of existing characters that you didn't see too much in Season 1 like Vox, Valentino and Velvet was really nice to see. The songs for the most part were a lot better than the songs in Season 1, especially with Gravity and Once We Get Up There. The introduction of new characters like Abel, Baxter and the Speaker was really cool to see, as it opens up more opportunities for unique character interactions, and the writing in these episodes was a lot better compared to Season 1 too. It is the first time I have watched official Hazbin Hotel content and have not been thinking about the overwhelming amount of swearing in the show. So they must have toned that down in the second season, which I am all for, as I think that swearing can be funny if executed properly. Some of the other songs did disappoint me a little bit, but I think songs are the most subjective thing about any musical, so it's not that big of an issue. I would have liked to have also seen some more details throughout these episodes, but hopefully that will come later on in the season. As a whole, I'm very happy with the direction that this season is taking, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you so much for making it this far into the video. If you enjoyed it and you would like to watch next week's video, where I review episodes 3 and 4, then please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss that upload. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.